Kangaroos can and will beat you up. That's right, just because it's not venomous doesn't mean it can't knock you on your ass, and Australia's most iconic marsupial can do just that. Because they are way bigger than you think they are. With our biggest species of roo coming in at a ridiculous 2.8 metres in length, and with the iconic hop, they've got a vertical jump of 3 metres. I mean, honestly, with a stat spread like that, they don't belong in the outback, they belong on a f***ing NBA court. As if that wasn't enough, they're also built like tanks, weighing in at a full 90 kilos of roid-raging rabbit muscle, and being able to move way faster than anything that heavy has any right to, pegging the speedo at a max of 70k an hour. Meaning if you make them angry, a juiced up rat the size of a small car is going to run your ass down and beat the f***ing brakes off you. And I'm not kidding when I say they really will rock your shit, because roos are professional kickboxers, with males routinely fighting MMA to win female attention. When they fight, kangaroos will lean back on their tails as a stabiliser and immediately start scratching and kicking the ever-loving shit out of one another. And those kicks have enough force to crack bone. And as if getting drop-kicked by a muscled marsupial wasn't bad enough, they also for some reason have the same bite force as a grizzly bear, because why not? Now, even with all of this, there are still animals stupid enough to view a roo as lunch, which brings me to the most terrifying thing that they do. When threatened, kangaroos will hop into a body of water and wait for whatever is chasing them to follow them in. Once the predator enters the water, the kangaroo will wrap its arms around their neck and just straight up drown them. What the man? I share a country with psychopathic tren rats. Oh! Okay, so, as the Aussie animal guy, I feel like I might owe you an explanation for this one. That is a normal f***ing roo. No, he is not Roosus Christ, he's not the second coming, and he's not going to turn your water into wine. Alright, he might turn it into VB if you ask nice.
Get that up, yeah.
But if that's the case, how the f*** is he stealing the Son of God's passive? Well, the answer is f***ing sand.
I don't like sand.
Yeah, you see, what's far more likely than a roo being enchanted with water walking is that he's actually running on a sandbar. That is basically just a fancy description for ocean currents piling up a shitload of sand into one place, creating an offshore segment of the water that's not much deeper than a f***ing kid's pool. Now, roos know about sandbars, and they actually very frequently use them as a shortcut to get from A to B to find more food. So, while it looks like Skippy here is stealing Jesus' entire f***ing flow, he's actually on a Macca's mish.
Let me get a...
Aussie farmers thought they were being attacked by aliens. But what was actually causing it is so much funnier. This is a wallaby, the kangaroo's vertically challenged little cousin. Now, to get a little more specific, this is a Bennett's wallaby, native to my home state of Tasmania. And that location is very important to the story. Tassie is home to a lot of things. Beautiful views, a seal with a felony record, and the nut. However, one thing they tend to leave off the tourism brochures is drugs. Tasmania is the world's largest exporter of legal opium, the main ingredient in opioid painkillers like morphine, with this one tiny island producing 50% of global supply. Now, opium comes from poppy milk, and to get poppy milk, you need to milk poppies. And to produce that 50% of global supply, Tasmanian farmers grow huge fields of these things across the north of the state. However, because throwing these flowers into a crafting table gives you narcotics, these fields are legally required to be under extremely tight security, which is why these same poppy farmers became extremely confused when crop circles showed up in the plant equivalent of a Town Hall 9 Clash of Clans base. They were understandably absolutely bewildered by this, and some people even thought it was aliens. So to figure out whether or not it was a Halo Elite drawing this shit, they set up some cameras. And what they saw was this little shit breaking into the field, eating the milk-filled buds, getting absolutely eyed, and then hopping in circles until he passed the out. They thought the Covenant were invading, and it was a drink-driving wallaby. Australia just found a new shark, and of course, being from the land down under, it's fucking weird. Introducing the brand new Western Australian lantern shark. As the name suggests, discovered by a team of scientists off the coast of Western Australia. Now, as with the overwhelming majority of weird shit in the ocean, the Ozempic shark here is found in the deep sea, sharing a postcode with the anglerfish, that one xenomorph shark, and now, despite the word shark making most people think of something a little closer in size to, I don't know, Bruce, Slenderman's fish sonar over here only grows up to 30 centimetres. This little guy shares a weight class with a fucking foot long. But I mean, honestly, I still personally think 30 centimetres is way too big. He could be just as good as the other sharks if he was, let's just say 3 inches. However, other than being built like a fishy USB cable and owning a property in rock bottom, what makes him so weird? Simple. He fucking glows.
Throwing flashbang.
But fucking why? Well, you see, these bad boys are found in the twilight zone of the ocean, around 1.2 kilometres below the surface. A place so fucking far down, it sees less sunlight than the inside of a gacha addict's room. And so, lantern sharks evolved bioluminescence on their gills and fins in order to fucking communicate with one another. The glow is the evolutionary equivalent of a fucking indicator, showing that a literal abyss shark is more intelligent than your average BMW driver. Want how different Christmas is in Australia? Well, want to no longer, because I'm here to tell you that, like the rest of the country, it's fucking cursed. First off, our Christmas is in the dead centre of summer, which means that rather than waking up to a lovely white Christmas, we wake up and immediately start melting into a puddle because it's 35 fucking degrees outside and the aircon's broken. With this change in weather comes a change in work uniform for old Santa Claus, trading out the usual red and white for a singlet and a pair of thongs. Because to quote the big man himself, fuck wearing that shit, it's too hot. St. Nick has also bought himself a new whip, trading out the sleigh for a, quote, rusty Holden ute, and firing Rudolph and all of his fucking blades, replacing them with, I shit you not, kangaroos. You may think I am bullshitting you, which is fair, but no, I'm not. We even have a song about it.
Dashing through the bush in a rusty Holden ute.
Santa also has had a significant change in diet in the land down under, as rather than the usual milk and cookies, my parents told me to make sure to leave a few nice cold beers out on the countertop for old Santa, which, knowing what I do now, was absolutely just an excuse for my parents to pre-game Christmas Day. But I also can't think of anything more Australian than turning a jolly old man into a raging fucking alcoholic. Australia doesn't just have snakes and spiders, it has a tiger. Well, kinda. Introducing the thylacine, better known as the Tassie tiger. As the name suggests, native to my home state of Tasmania, this tiny little island off Australia's south coast. No, that is not New Zealand. They have hobbits, not tigers. Tiger isn't entirely correct. You see, the thylacine isn't a cat on steroids. You see, this bad boy is the largest carnivorous marsupial on the planet. Despite the kangaroo coming in at 7 foot tall and throwing kicks like Chun-Li, they are herbivores, and everything else with a pouch that eats meat is about the size of a chihuahua, making this 1.3 metre, 20 kilo kangaroo dog with a tiger persona the only marsupial apex predator. See, these things were ambush hunters, using stealth and speed to silently take down their prey like they're playing Assassin's Creed. On top of being a fully qualified Spec Ops agents, these things had a mouth on them to rival Kirby. Capable of opening their jaw a full 80 fucking degrees, which is absolutely terrifying and really cool. There's just one small problem. You may have picked up on me talking mostly in the past tense, and that all of this footage is in black and white. That's because we don't have a tiger. We had one. Unfortunately, the thylacine was driven to extinction in the late 1980s. By what exactly? The British. You see, when the Brits, did their thing and decided Tasmania was their house now, actually, they brought with them livestock, namely sheep and cattle, which was a fucking blessing to the Tassie tiger, which rapidly added these walking meatballs with the survival instincts of a wet sock to their meal plans.
It's free real estate.
The colonists did not take kindly to the thylacine taking their livestock without a licence in it, so they placed bounties on their heads. Never mind that these things never attacked humans and very rarely took their livestock. No, they were an inconvenience. And so, they were hunted down. One by one by one. For 70 fucking years. Until September 7th, 1936. When the last thylacine, Benjamin, died cold and alone in a cage at the Hobart Zoo. Usually I'd end these with a joke, but the fact that we wiped his entire bloodline and turned him into a fucking rug isn't that funny.